There's no middle ground.
Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes. It's half time. I'm joined by Sean Connolly, Kevin McCluskey, and of course, Chris McElwain. It might be scoreless, Sean, but what a first half of football we've just been served up there.
Yeah, it's been a bit breathless, hasn't it? It's just, I can't believe we're still at 0-0 though. Three great finishes from Kyogo, all correctly chopped off. 2 for offside, 1 for a foul by McGregor, unfortunately. And then we should have that penalty when Maeda gets bundled in the box. That's a Stonewall penalty. Yeah. It was more of a penalty than the one that we did get. I actually think that Greg Taylor one was more of a totting up penalty than it was an actual clear penalty. He does get pulled, but then there's a delay in his reaction to that pull. So I think it was soft and we're lucky to get it. The Maeda one's clear though. And look, this ref has been stinking. Hadjim at left back should have been booked at least once. Benito should have been booked for that kick on Kun at the end. But yeah, we focus on the performance. We have been absolutely killing them. It's just a miracle. It's 0-0. They'll be, I don't know, like the concern is that they are physically much bigger than us, and the longer it stays 0-0, all it takes is a set piece. That's the concern.
That is the concern, absolutely, Sean, because going in at half-time there, you're looking at the disallowed goals. You're looking at some of the individual performances in the Celtic side. Engel steps up and misses a penalty. I agree with you, Sean. I think the Maeda one was far more of a penalty, and it was probably playing on the ref's mind. I was going to ask you about that one. Kevin, in terms of a performance, how often have we sat here at half-time disappointed with a lifeless kind of performance in the second half and hoping that we come into our game in the second half? We were firing. We were firing throughout that first half. I mean, if you can criticise anything, it's the fact that beyond the disallowed goals, beyond the penalty, we've missed a hell of a lot of chances. But you do get the sense it's coming. You do get the sense that we're going to open the scoring here.
Yeah, you do. You referenced it in the pre-match. Excuse me, when we're talking about this one and the amount of times that we've done the show, and it's been 0-0 at half-time, or we're a goal down, and we've looked a bit laboured and leggy, and you say, like, don't panic. We'll do it. We'll get there. We'll find a rhythm. We'll get a goal. We found a rhythm right from the first minute in that first half. And it's been breathless ever since. And so, like, I'm really glad you got to Sean first for the analysis, because then I actually get to catch my breath. I'm gutted, like knackered, just watching it. I think it's been a brilliant first half performance from us. The only thing that's missing is a goal. We have put the ball in the back of the net 3 times, every single one of them correctly disallowed for one reason or another, offside or a foul. So we can't complain at them, can't grumble at that. But we've created the chances as well. So it's not as if that's been the only chances we've had. We've had quite a few opportunities. Maybe with just the final ball's been lacking. There was a couple, certainly Kuhn's put at least one in from the right that's been just behind Kyogo. There's been another where Keller's made some good saves, getting down low, certainly from Hatate. So we've been creating chances. There's nothing to panic about from that first half, really. If we can keep that tempo, the intensity going, if we can keep on playing those quick and early passes in behind, either in the channels or over the top, where we've had loads of success, then I think that'll continue to happen in the second half. We'll continue to create chances. We know we can score against this team. I mean, we've done it often enough in that 45 minutes. If we can just time a run a little bit better, then one legitimate goal could open the floodgates on that 3-0 that I predicted pre-match.
We go into this game, there's been a lot of talk about Kyogo. Loads of talk about Kyogo. Listen, I'd need to go through the old Football Companion and all the old David Potter history books to find out if a Celtic player has ever scored a hat-trick of goals that have been disallowed in one half of football, Chris. One half of football. He must be tearing his hair out. And you look at the quality of them. I mean, I want to focus on the McGregor one, because I thought he was really unlucky, McGregor. Because when you watch it back, right, you're looking at it, and Sean, jump in if I'm talking nonsense here. You're thinking it's a free kick. It's a free kick. When you watch it back, this is a frustration. But you do feel, as a fan base, and I'm sure as players, a sense of injustice when you have the ball in the net 3 times by half-time and it's still nothing each, Chris. And I think the important thing is, when we go back to the pre-match about being spooked and being rattled and all that, we can't allow that to rattle us. The 3 balls in the net, Engels missing the penalty. Listen, we are the team that's going to win this game if we approach it the same way in the second half. We can't allow that to rattle us.
Yeah, I'd agree. Mentality is going to be key in that second half, and particularly the three players that you've mentioned there. All involved in the goals being disallowed. I mean, Kyogo, just timing his runs badly. Well, not that badly. I mean, they were pretty close. Engels, missing the penalty, and McGregor, committing the foul, which I think, in fairness, was a foul. I do want to touch on McGregor because a couple of games ago I singled him out for some criticism, which is. Honestly, I felt like I had to go to confession after saying it, but because he's your captain. But I have given him a bit of criticism for a couple of games this year. Tonight, outstanding, absolutely outstanding. Best player in the park for me tonight. I think he's been absolutely phenomenal, and that's why it feels sacrilegious to criticise him at times, because he's got that type of performance in him. I thought, apart from that foul, I don't think he put a foot wrong. I thought he was outstanding. I think you could say for most of the team, they've not really put too much of a foot wrong. Some of our play has been absolutely phenomenal. With that said, they've fired a couple of warning shots at us, and I think that's the key thing. We don't want to get in a position where, by virtue of our own, lack of being clinical, we invite that sucker punch, because as much as I think we're head and shoulders above young boys of Bern tonight, all it takes is for one chance of theirs to go into the net, and we might be right up against it. So I think you're right. We need to keep the intensity levels up in the second half, performance levels up. The fact that Kyogo's put the ball in the net 3 times, hopefully he gets a little bit of confidence in that he's actually done that, even though the goal's been disallowed. But he's making good runs, he's getting into positions, just need the timing a little better, just need the time to be a little sharper. But by God, he looks up for it tonight. Hatate, we spoke about him. What an unbelievable chance he had, of his own making. And there's been a few like that. So I cannot, in good conscience, come out here and criticise any of the players tonight. But we just need to keep the level where it is and try and convert some of these chances into goals.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, though, like you say, and I think it's a good point, Kyogo has his shooting boots on tonight, Sean. He's had the ball in the net 3 times. Yes, there's a disappointment of the goals being disallowed, but he's shown that he's on fire tonight, Kyogo. Absolutely sensational performance by him. I'm really, really keen to bring in some of the comments coming in. David Scott on the YouTube, Maida and Calmac, best performance this season. Hopefully, Chris said he's 4 Hail Marys and 2 Our Fathers after going to confession. Callum McGregor, Sean. What a performance in the first half. I mean, dominant. Yeah. He was orchestrating the pace. He's carrying the ball, which a lot of people are telling me he's not got the legs to do that. Well, he's proven them wrong tonight, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been, as you said, driving forward. He's been spraying it out wide. There's one point where he's under pressure with 3 men closing him down, and he nutmegs the guy to get out of the pressure. So yeah, he's been great. And I think, to be fair, Hatate and Engels have been great as well. The one that I think is the third disallowed goal, if you will. Engels puts in a great challenge to win that when he's absolutely not the favourite to win that ball. Hatate's had some great through balls. I think the only criticism I would have overall is some guys look like they've got too much adrenaline going. Like a couple of the Maeda and Kyogo going a bit too early. Hatate, he's got time to bring it down, but he tries a volleyed pass instead, that sort of thing. But it's not been. I think the adrenaline and intensity they've been playing with have had more benefits than downsides. So I'm not going to call it out, but it has. If we could channel that in a more controlled manner, that'd be great. Like Callum McGregor's doing, and if the other players on the pitch could do the same thing, we'd already be up a bit. I'm just thinking back to the Bratislava game. We were only 1-0 up in that game at halftime, and it was again from a set piece. So I'm hoping we do what we did against Bratislava, which is still come out with the same intensity in the second half. Because domestically, recently we've been all over teams first half. I think Ross County, Dundee, etc. And then we've not really shown up in the second half. So I'm hoping that we get a Bratislava second half and not a January domestic second half.
No, without a doubt. The moment where McGregor kind of clips the young boys player, and obviously that results in the goal getting chopped off, Sean. When you watch it back, I'm looking at that player thinking to myself, he's off balance anyway. He might have actually been off balance. He might not have gone down, but he was off balance, and McGregor was sharp enough to get away. So, I mean, listen, with hindsight, that's it. And I just think the fact that we're so fired up, the one player that I want to see in the game a wee bit more is Kuhn. Some of the mazy runs coming in from the right-hand side, maybe now and again taking on one extra man and all the rest of it. He wants to have the perfect sighted goal, doesn't he, before he lets fly. Earlier in the season, Kev, there was more of an instinctiveness about him. He was just letting fly and scoring a lot of goals. He's the one guy I think to myself could come into it a wee bit more. He's not a bad first half, don't get me wrong, but a lot of our play has gone down the left-hand side, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned it before me, because I've kind of got that down in my notes that there's points in the game where he's just not mentioned, and like Chris a few weeks ago felt it was sacrilegious to have a go at Callum when he wasn't playing well. I kind of feel the same about Nicholas Kuhn, because his goal contributions per 90 is just off the charts, and you feel that when he's on the park, you're almost guaranteed a goal. You know, he's either going to score or set one up at some point. But it was a strange first half from him, because, like you say, everything seemed to be going down the left. I think he's maybe like 15 minutes into the game or something before he gets his first field chance. Excuse me. So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. That he's just trying to make his first impact in the game something really special, and really be sure of himself when he's creating that chance. It's something he's got in his locker at times, where he does try to overplay it a bit. But I would like to see him be a bit more involved and maybe be a little bit more direct, like Maeda has been on the left. And it will come in the second half, I'm sure. And actually, to drop it back, one player, Engels, I think, has been really good behind him. He's been playing the balls in through that channel. Some of them just haven't quite come off, or Kuhn's maybe been forced to play across early on his right foot, which is slightly weaker. But overall, listen, if Nicholas Kuhn is your weakest player in the team, or your weakest performer, and he's played as he has in that first half, I'll settle for that. Because everyone else is obviously a wee bit above. And we know that Kuhn can raise his game for the second half. I'm sure he will. And as the game goes on, when you've got the fans again getting behind the team, roaring them on, being that 12th man, I think that could make a massive difference as well. And he's someone that I think thrives in the big occasion. And I'm hopeful we see a more impactful second half from him.
He's been absolutely man-marked. It's touch tight. You can see it. And you kind of hope in the second half Johnson does a few more overlaps and underlaps, maybe just to free up that space for him. And then they can do their interplay that they're so good at. Brendan McCarthy, this just seems as if it's not going to be our night. God bless you, Arnie boy. Brendan, have faith that it will be our night. And the thing is, I would hope, Chris, that people don't focus on the fact he's missed a penalty, because he's played so well in the first half.
He puts himself about, doesn't he? And I love his physicality tonight. There was one point, does the same one that Sean was referencing, one point down our right-hand side. And he just doesn't give up the ball. It's fantastic. He's down on the deck. He's still trying to win it. And eventually we retain possession. And he's shown that physical side. He's shown the energy. The penalty's unfortunate, but look, the best player in the world can miss a penalty, and he's a hell of a good record up to this point. So I think, what you hope from him in the second half is that he uses the anger and the disappointment of the penalty to go and drive him on and actually try and make up for that and atone for that. But I couldn't really fault his performance apart from that. I thought he worked well in that midfield. Interestingly enough, I thought another player that I do want to mention was Rio Hatate. Something that we spoke about a lot was him, doing the basics and doing the fundamentals. I thought he was very, very clever with his possession by and large tonight. I thought he was excellent. I thought when he played the ball back, he played it back for the right reasons. And I don't think he's tried to be too cavalier tonight. He's looking a lot more disciplined. So again, just a shout out to him, because he's been subject to some criticism up to now as well.
He fancies a goal tonight, Rio, doesn't he?
He does. He looks in the mid.
He did that thing again, Chris, that he did against Kelly, where it looks as though he's skived the ball and mishit it, but it found its man. Well, he'd done it again tonight, so it can't be an error. He's the only guy in the park that can feign a pass and still get there. CJ shares your thoughts here. I can't fault them with the intensity. Sean, as the game kicked off, I thought your attention is elsewhere. Yeah, you're watching the game. He's saying, "Hurry up, Paul, get on." Nobody's interested. Here we go. Right, let's go to the second half. We'll join you at full time. Thanks everybody for getting involved on a Celtic state of mind.